mistake. You know what?
See, you're as crazy as the people on Twitter.
Right.
I'm not Lawrence Fishburne.
That's my fault. I know that. That was my fault. My mistake. You know what?
We don't all look alike.
Flavia, you're exactly
We
right.
all black and famous.
You
but
are
we all don't look
guilty.
alike.
I am guilty.
I'm busted. Must be a very short line for your job.
I'll
outside
say.
there.
No, it probably would not be hard to get another person to sit right here.
He'll be outside. Kevin's outside.
Bob Seeley, yes, Bob Seeley's out in the truck.
Kevin's across the street.
Yeah, 45's already got ID up.
Okay, I'm ready, guys.
Am I helpful here?
Always, sure.
Okay.
3, 2. I'm meteorologist Jason Nicholas tracking more Arctic air. We'll let you know how long it'll last in our forecast. 15, 3, 2. I'm Power 5 meteorologist Jason Nicholas. Try that again. 3, 2. I'm Power 5 3, 2. I'm Power 5 meteorologist Jason Nicholas tracking more Arctic air to northern Ohio. Temperatures near zero. What is that I'm hearing in my ear? I'm hearing an echo. All right, try again. 1, 3, 2. Hey there, I'm Power 5 meteorologist Jason Nicholas, again tracking Arctic air into northern Ohio, sticking around here below zero temperatures to our north and west, wind chills well below zero. Let you know when we'll break out of this coming up in our forecast. 3, 2. Hey there, I'm Power 5 meteorologist Jason Nicholas. Thank you so much for visiting Newsnet5.com. As we move through our Tuesday, high temperatures in the low to mid-teens, a very cold afternoon. The good news is, as we head through the next several days, this will be the coldest day of the next 7. A few flurries around, but mostly clouds and even some sunshine. Wind chills near zero. Tonight, we're again near zero or below zero. Frigid cold. Wind chill values to 5 or 10 below, but that wind subsiding a bit. Look at the warming trend for Wednesday. Upper 20s, warming more on Thursday with temperatures in the low 30s, and then we're back cold as we head into the upcoming weekend. Yep, saw that. All right, I'm ready whenever. No, it's good. I just heard it twice. It was a weird echo. I'm ready whenever. 3, 2. Hey there, I'm Power 5 meteorologist Jason Nicholas. Thank you so much for visiting Newsnet5.com. As we head through our Tuesday, high temperatures in the low to mid-teens, a cold afternoon, wind chills to near zero. The good news, though, is I think this will be the coldest day over the next 7. We'll start to warm things up. Cold tonight, lows near zero, maybe even below zero, especially inland areas. Wind chills to 5 to 10 below, although the winds do subside a bit. Upper 20s for Wednesday, low 30s for Thursday. A little warming trend there, Then back into the 20s as we head through Friday into the upcoming weekend. Best chance at snow, I think, will be Friday, and then another shot late Saturday into Sunday. Nothing big. Little wintry mix potentially by early next week. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Leon Bibb reporting. Breaking news on another shakeup for your Cleveland Browns. Joe Banner is out as CEO. Mike Lombardi stepping down. General manager and Ray Farmer is being promoted to general manager. The owner, Jimmy Haslam, is sitting down right now, holding a news conference, just getting started, just getting microphoned up. Let's listen in. Jimmy Haslam, owner of the Browns.
Several weeks ago, Joe Banner and I began having discussions about the structure and organization of the Cleveland Browns, and over the last several days have come to the conclusion that Joe has done a superb job putting the right people in place for the Browns. Joe is obviously solely instrumental in bringing Alex Shiner, our president, who will continue to run our business operations, in place, and played a key role in hiring Coach Patton and in bringing Ray Farmer to our organization and ensuring that Ray Farmer did stay with our organization. And Joe and I, after lots of conversation, mutually agreed that it was best for the organization if we streamline things, where accountability, reporting lines were much clearer, and accordingly, effective today, we've announced that Alex Shiner, as I mentioned earlier, will run our business side and will remain as president. Mike Patton will obviously be the head coach, and Ray Farmer will be our GM. We will not have a CEO, and those three people will report directly to me. I cannot thank Joe, who will serve in a transition role for several months, probably until May or June, enough for what he has done for me personally and for our family in terms of teaching us the NFL business, if you will. I don't know that I've ever met anyone smarter or worked harder, better negotiator than Joe. And it's been a pleasure to work with him during this time period. And as I said, he'll help us as we transition over the next few months. I would also be remiss if I did not thank Mike Lombardi. Mike and his wife Millie are good friends of ours. Mike has great football acumen, and I think Mike understands how to put together a football team. Mike and Joe have left us in good position in terms of both free agency and cap space, as well as this year's draft, where we have 10 overall picks and 3 of the first 35. At the same time, I can't tell you how excited I am about the opportunity to work directly with Pat, Alec, and Ray, and I believe we have positioned this organization to become a winning football team, something that's not happened on a consistent basis around here in a long time. I will accept comments and criticism about change, and I'll accept responsibility for some of the changes that have been made. There is no primer for being an NFL owner. It is a learn on the go, if you will. But I think what's really important is for everybody in this room, but really much more so all our fans, to understand that this ownership group, our family, and this owner is committed to bringing a winner to the Browns. And as I said when we introduced Pat a few weeks ago, talk is cheap and actions speak louder than words. And we finished this press conference. I know Ray's going to address you all for a little bit, and I know he welcomes that opportunity, as do you. But we're going to go to work, and we're fully committed to making this franchise a winner. So with that, I'll be glad to take any questions.
When you introduced Mike Patton, the theme was everybody's on the same page. What happened in these last 2 weeks that such a drastic change in structure of the organization has been made? Yeah,
like I said, Joe and I began having conversations several weeks ago about potentially restructuring the organization, and as Pet came on board and we evaluated where we are, we felt it made the most sense. It was a much simpler organizational structure than we had before, much clearer lines of responsibility and authority, and something we all felt more comfortable with, and something we're very excited with. And I look forward to letting you all have the opportunity to work with Ray.
Jimmy, you were going through the coaching search, and certain candidates didn't even want to talk to you about the job. Did you start to get concerned about the perception of this front office?
Let me say two things. I think the reports of people not wanting to talk to us are inaccurate, okay? But I think most importantly, I think we got a great head coach. And I said that when we were up here 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I feel even stronger watching Mike work, watching his leadership, and watching the staff that he's put together.
I understand, but were you concerned about the reputation that was building of this front office?
No, like I said, I think we went through a very thorough search. Comments were made about how long it took. If I would not do one thing different in the search, and I think we got the best person available.
Jimmy, can you talk about you talked about a great talent evaluator, Mike Lombardi was, and all that stuff. Yet he was out of football for 5 years, and here he only lasted 1 year with you. So what really went on with Lombardi?
You know, I will say again what I said. Mike, I think, knows and understands football as well as anybody. We feel that Ray is the best person to handle the personnel side of our organization for the Cleveland Browns. We look forward to working with Ray.
It sounds a little odd, though. You've given Joe and Mike high praise, high thanks, and that Joe took part in restructuring things. It almost sounds like he restructured himself out of a job. Now, the guys you praised so well are no longer working here. It sounds a little...
Yeah, I think Joe would tell you that organization and putting together organizations are what he likes and enjoys doing. And I think he felt comfortable that he had set us up for success, and it's now time for us to move forward.
Were you no longer comfortable with Joe having final decision on some of the personnel moves?
No, I think, like I said, I felt like the previous setup was a little bit cumbersome. And I think the way we're organized now is much more streamlined. It'll be much more efficient and much more clear in terms of who's in charge of what.
Jimmy, why do you want them all reporting to you? That's a change in the way your setup is.
You know, Tony, that's a setup that I'm used to, and I think it'll work well. And I view my job as this: 1, to provide the proper resources; 2, to put the right people in the right place; 3, to hold them accountable; and then 4, to do everything I can to help them be successful.
Jimmy, you had a front office.
That if Mike Lombardi goes, Joe said, if we're getting rid of Mike, I'm going to.
No, we just took a step back. I think it was a normal time to do it with Pet coming in and saying, okay, are we setting ourselves up for success? What's the best way, in my terminology, if we're going to whiteboard this, what's the best way to organize things? We felt this was the best way to set things up.
You had a coaching problem, you fixed that. Looks like you had a front office problem, you fixed that. You now have a huge public perception problem as this being one of the most dysfunctional sports franchise out there. How are you going to fix that? What do you say to fans today?
Well, let me say I would disagree with that, okay? I think that's a perception that you all have set out there, and I will tell you, as I talk to people around the league, we're at the Super Bowl last year, people view this as a great franchise, okay? It's a great football area. We're in great shape with the cap. We're in great shape with the draft. And so I think if you talk to people around the league, they'll say this is a wonderful opportunity. Now, we've got to produce. And I had dinner with Pet last night, and we were looking at some records. There's not been a coach here since before 1991 that had a winning record. And the team's only won 35% of its games. So we've got our work to do. But I continue to believe this is an outstanding opportunity.
What message does this send to season ticket holders, and were you losing a lot of season ticket holders recently?
No, our season ticket holders are very excited. We sold more tickets last year than I think the Browns had in, I know, a lot of years. I don't want to say exactly how many, but our season ticket holder base remains very strong, and at least the preliminary comments we've gotten in this morning are very positive. So we're excited about our fan base. As you all know, this is a tremendous fan base around here, and we're committed, and I can't say it enough, and we've got to do it. We're committed to bringing a winner to this area.
Jimmy, we often talked about accountability. 9 of your former pilot employees pled guilty to crimes. How did that happen?
You know, Ron, I don't think this is the place to address the Pilot Flying J situation. I think this is about the Cleveland Browns organization, and I think it's about Ray Farmer and his promotion to GM. I don't think now's the time to comment on that.
Financial stability of Pilot at all?
No, it's very strong, very strong.
Do you think that anything would have been different in terms of firing Chud or not firing Chud had these changes been made before that decision?
You know, I think, Mary Kay, those are hard decisions. I think we've made the right decisions. We're really excited about Coach Patton.
Would you agree that to make this change a week before the scouting combine is unusual?
You know, I think you have to realize Ray's been here for a year, and our scouts are in place, and so it's not like we're bringing in somebody totally new. So Ray's here. It's probably not as much change in the organization as it might appear to be.
Jimmy, just for the record, the way I hear it, you're saying the perception of the dysfunctionality comes from the local media. Could you expound on that, please?
I will just tell you that the people I talk to around the country do not think this is an outstanding opportunity here in Cleveland, whether it's to coach, play, or work. And I continued to hear that when I was at the owners' meeting last week. And I think the steps we have taken clarify how our organization is going to be set up and run, and as I've said several times today, set us up for success. And we're excited about that opportunity.
Jimmy, don't people have to tell you that? I mean, you're the owner. Nobody's going to walk up to you and say, this team is a freaking mess. I mean, nobody's going to walk up to you and tell you that.
Well, let me say this. I tremendously appreciate the passion that our fans have and that they care so much. I really do. I talk to some owners who laugh at our situation in terms of, man, you should appreciate how much your fans care, how important they take football, how serious football is in northeastern Ohio. So we take that really seriously.
At the Chud press conference, or December 30th, I think it was, you said you had acknowledged you had been distracted, but that is past now. The fact that 3 people are now reporting directly to you means that your attendance here will be more required than ever?
Yeah, I think you'll see us more in Berea, and we look forward to working with what we believe are 3 extremely talented individuals.
Jimmy, why wouldn't you, if you were going to do this, and you talk about streamlining the organization, I mean, it's been this way for about a year. When you let go of Chud, why wouldn't you have just made that change, and then you and Ray Farmer go out and hire a coach?
You know, Bud, I said this earlier, and I will tell you, I underestimated this. It's a learning curve to be an NFL owner, and if you want to look at me as a work in progress, that's fair to say to do. And I will tell you this, these are the last of the major changes we're going to make in the organization, but we'll continue to, if I could use the word, tinker with the organization to continue to find ways to improve it and make it better.
Mike has only been on the job for a couple weeks. Did you feel the need to reassure him that the organization was stable?
No. I think if you talk to Mike, he'll tell you he's very excited about the opportunity, very excited about our players, and I think he's put together a great staff.
Jimmy, I know that you're working very closely with federal prosecutors, and your legal team is, and you've talked about working with them to find a resolution to the probe to your company. Can you give us an update on how close you are to resolution?
You know, here again, I think there's a time to talk about Pilot Flying J. I think today's the time to talk about the Cleveland Browns.
Jimmy, in the draft of free agency, is it going to be Ray picks the people and you approve it, or how is that going to work?
You know, it'll be a collaborative effort. I think we've got a great group of scouts, and I think Pat and his coaching staff, we talked about this at dinner last night, will also participate, and I think we'll all work together to get the best players we can. This question hasn't come up, but Mike will have final say on the 45-day roster, who plays on Sundays, and Ray will have final say on the 53-player roster, and he'll talk about that more when he addresses you all.
Not everybody was on board with this important offseason, especially in terms of that first overall pick and the quarterback you may take?
I'm concerned that we do a great job in this draft because I understand how important it is.
Did you promise Ray that he was going to get this promotion when he turned down that Miami job?
No, not at all. We have thought highly of Ray when we first interviewed him over a year ago, and when we interviewed him, we knew that he would be a GM someday, and we're delighted he's going to be the GM of the Browns.
What do you like so much about Ray?
You've been listening to Cleveland Browns owner Jimmy Haslam talking about changes that were made today at the Cleveland Browns. Today they promoted Ray Farmer to general manager. He had been assistant manager, general manager, and announced that Joe Banner will be stepping down in the next 2 months as he transitions out of his role as CEO. Effectively, there will be no one with the title CEO. Jimmy Haslam will take charge of that, he said. A lot of changes. Joe Banner leaving, Ray Farmer being promoted to general manager. General manager Michael Lombardi leaving the Cleveland Browns. Haslam said that he had nothing but praise for both Lombardi and Banner, saying that they've left the Browns in good position as the Browns looked forward to the draft. We positioned the Browns to be a winning football team, said Jimmy Haslam. He said that he believes that the fan base in Cleveland is still strong. Someone asked him, what about public perception? And he said he didn't think the public perception of the Cleveland Browns was bad. He says, I think maybe anybody who has a public perception, maybe you guys, making a reference to the news media there, assumed. That is what I'm assuming he was making a reference to. And he said that he thought that everything was going to be fine with the Cleveland Browns. So, and Jimmy Haslam did say this is the last major change of the Cleveland Browns that we're going to hear about, certainly in the foreseeable future. The last major change, he said. We will continue to follow the story, of course, on News Channel 5 at 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock, and on NewsNet5.com. We now join the view in progress.
Hey, I can hear you, kiddo. Cairns isn't out here yet. I hear you.
Yeah. I can hear you fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2. Yeah. I think I will be cueing him. That's what I did the last time because his earpiece does not fit into this phone. Yes.
How people kind of come together and why those things are important, and it's communication. So 3 tenets that I'm going to hold near and dear to as I'm here with the Cleveland Browns are, and you'll figure this out about me in time, I'm a big acronym guy. So I'm going to say the first one is KTB, pretty simple, know, trust, and believe. And I think it's one of the bases behind relationships for me, is that in order for people to believe you, they got to know you. And then as they know you, they'll trust you. And as they trust you, they'll believe in you. So I think that connecting to people is critical in that way. The other one, and the guys around the league that really know me will know what this one's about, but it's GUTFA. It's GUTF. Get up the field. It's a football term. And all of my guys, we send the text messages back and forth. It's kind of how we end things. And it speaks to really getting after
Coming up, News Channel 5, the noon hour. We continue to follow breaking news from Berea and the Browns head office, the big changes and what it could mean for the new football season. The news begins in just a few seconds. This is News Channel 5 at noon.
On your side, with Northeast Ohio's best coverage, this is News Channel 5.
Big changes in the Cleveland Browns head offices. We continue to follow the breaking news out of Berea, where just moments ago the organization announced very big moves. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Leon Bibb. Let's get straight to Berea as reaction pours in regarding these moves. Mike Cairns is standing by with more. Here's Mike.
Well, Leon, as you know, as a Browns fan, there is never an off season. Since the team has come back to town in 1999, it has been one change after another. In the most recent one, if you're doing the math, it's now 3 head coaches and 3 general managers in the last 407 days, all under the regime of the new owner, Jimmy Haslam. Now, here are the changes, as you heard and saw here on News Channel 5 just a few minutes ago. Jimmy Haslam met with the media for about 20 minutes. Ray Farmer, the new general manager, is meeting with the media right now inside. Ray Farmer becomes the general manager. Alex Shiner will take over the business side of the operations for the Browns. Joe Banner will stay on for the next couple of months, possibly until May, which is when the draft is coming up. And Jimmy Haslam talked about the draft. He says he's really excited about the moves that he made with Ray Farmer as the general manager, who interviewed for the same exact job, by the way, in Miami. Was very happy to be able to retain him and also ultimately give him the job as general manager. But with 10 overall picks and 3 of the first 35 picks, Jimmy Haslam knows this is a key draft for this franchise coming up. Now, one of the big moves, just like when he runs his Pilot Flying J business, everyone will report directly to him here in Berea. Everybody underneath him, from Ray Farmer to Alex Shiner, will report directly to him. And he understands there will be a learning curve for him as the owner of the Cleveland Browns.
It's a learning curve to be an NFL owner, and if you want to look at me as a work in progress, that's fair to say to do. And I will tell you this, these are the last of the major changes we're going to make in the organization, but we'll continue to, if I could use the word, tinker with the organization to continue to find ways to improve it and make it better.
Again, the changes here in Berea. Joe Banner is out. Michael Lombardi is out. Ray Farmer is the new general manager. Alex Shiner will continue to run the business side of the operations for the Cleveland Browns. We will hear much more from our owner, Jimmy Haslam, coming up at the bottom of the hour. Reporting live from Berea, I'm Mike Cairns, News Channel 5.
Big day. This shakeup comes 1 month after the Browns finally hired Coach Mike Pettin after a 25-day search. Banner and Haslam fired Coach Rod Chudzinski after a 4-12 season. Our live team coverage continues with Sports Director Andy Baskin. Andy, give me your thoughts on all of this.
All right, so Mike talked a lot about what, the nuts and bolts of this story are. And let's talk about what the reality of this story is and what the passion is behind this. You're looking at an owner in Jimmy Haslam who has now had 3 head coaches and 3 general managers in less than a span of 500 days. So the question now becomes, what kind of owner is Jimmy Haslam? If the Browns go on and win games, today might be one of the best days in Browns history. But if we're sitting here a year from now trying to figure out exactly where this team and franchise are going, it'll look like a dysfunctional franchise. And I think that's one of the things that hit Jimmy Haslam hard
when he decided to make this decision. I don't think he liked the fact that the national media or local media were constantly ripping on the product that he had out there, and this franchise, which he admits is a historic franchise in the NFL. So a lot of this has to do with perception of running the organization. Michael Lombardi is a guy that was here before, and we all know what happened with him and Bill Belichick, but got a second chance when Joe Banner brought him back. Michael Lombardi, also a member of the media for the last couple of years. A very well-spoken, well-understanding football man when it comes to the game. Yet we never heard from our general manager. It's an unusual place to be. And in fact, at one point there was a press conference when Jimmy Haslam was asked, "Where's your general manager?" And he goes, "I didn't even think about bringing him out at the press conference." So I think the biggest thing that Jimmy Haslam wanted to do today was streamline the franchise. You now have one voice for the business operation, which is Alex Shiner. You now have one voice for the football side of the operation, and that will be Ray Farmer, your general manager. So they have streamlined what they're doing in the organization. Time will tell what this day means for the Browns, but when in talking to fans today, I think Browns fans are happy about this decision, and they all want to move forward. And the bottom line of this whole thing is you have got to win football games, and that's what Jimmy Haslam wants to do. We'll talk more about this at 5 and 6 o'clock, and also on a special edition of Dogs on the Run. Back to you, Leon.
Thank you. Thank you, Andy. Appreciate that. Browns fans, of course, as Andy said, have lots of opinions on this. We want to hear from you. What do you think? We're going to bring you another special edition of Dogs on the Run at 6:30 on NewsNet5.com and on our mobile app. Call or Skype to sound off.